immense media circus around the event. We started to see radio.
Don't ever watch the show Evil Killers, because it will flat pull you in. I look kind of shiny. A little too much sun this weekend. I spent a lot of time out on the boat with children and friends, which was super nice. Old Mom Sunday night. Kind of quiet tonight, which is nice. School is getting ready to start. We're on the countdown a week from today. The Wood family will be hopefully asleep by now, ready for the first day of 3rd grade and 8th grade. And then my big boys don't start until the day after Labor Day. Oh, good evening. All these people on. So tonight, Russell, my middle son, it's interesting. A lot of people are like, you don't really write about your son, or he's not, in. And I tell people, I try to really listen to my children. Russell has not ever been one that has wanted to be anywhere near my block, and so I try to be respectful of that. Not always perfect, but trying. And tonight, so he and I are down at the beach for 3 days, just the two of us, which is super nice. And I'm going to get a little work done and get some good time in with my parents. And so tonight, he and I, my mom and dad, went to have dinner at the Italian restaurant. And one of the cooks came out, Antonio, and was like helping us. Like, clearly they're like, we're so short-staffed. And we're like, Antonio, you could be our waiter. He was like, ooh, I would love that. I mean, it was so fun. Anyway, your hair looks cute. Well, it's clean, which is rare. So anyway, we had dinner with my mom and dad, and that was nice. And it's interesting. I don't know if maybe I know a lot of people who don't have their parents around anymore. And having lost my brother, I'm particularly I guess, just want to keep up with them. And it's really hard. And I'm sure lots of women, mothers, can all know what I'm talking about. You come up here and get on this part of the bed. There, that's your part, not on the pillow. Juggling kids, teenagers, stop, lay down. Parents, it is dogs. It's really hard. And I don't always do a great job at it. But I think having to make the priority of, like, particularly if you live in the same town as your parents. I remember when my kids were in preschool, there were grandparents that picked up every Wednesday from preschool. And my in-laws live near us, which is super nice. We kind of get to see them casually. But my own parents don't live, right there by us. So we have to make an effort to see them. And it's hard to make it happen. But I really do make it happen. So this week, my husband was like, I'm sure he's thinking, what do you have to do possibly? And I said, I want to have a little time with Russell. I haven't really had time with him this summer. And I want to get in some time with my parents. Time that's just not filled up time. Like I said, Dad, what do you want to do tomorrow? And I need to pay bills. I need to do a little work. I'm doing a really neat campaign with the Cleveland Clinic in cardiology on this thing called HCM. So I've got to do a little work on that. I'm doing another project. So those are great things. But he was like, well, I'd like to swim in the ocean. I was like, well, great. Just let me know what your plan is. I have no plans. I have to take, Russell to work at 5:30. We could go eat there. And Russell was like, no, I don't want to do that. Don't come and eat while I'm working. He's bussing tables at Amos Mosquito. And then my mom, Mom, do you want to go to Belk or hang out? you visit your parents often. I feel like I do see them, but I just have made an effort more, and to be totally honest, years ago, after my brother died, it was hard to go home. It was not fun to go home. I mean, you went home and here you'd been this family of 4, right? And suddenly you're the only child. And it wasn't, I mean, it stunk, honestly. And so I went off to boarding school. I was in college and I just kind of did my own thing, I guess. And my dad and I got in this big brouhaha over something. And he said then, he was mad at me, but I really learned a lot about it. He said, you never come home. And I think as a parent, we don't probably want to tell our children, like, we want to see you. We really miss you, especially when you're over 18 and you're getting your own life and you're doing all this stuff. But that was really important, I would say, as a parent. One, just being open and honest. If you are upset with somebody or you have something to say, just say it. Like, don't beat around the bush. Don't talk to other people about it. Just directly say to the person, I'm upset with you. And it really helped me because I thought about, wow, dog hair in my mouth. He's right. I really don't go home and I need to do that. And so that was long, long ago. But ever since then, it's always been in my brain of making sure I go home and making sure I see my parents. And I love my parents. And I hear from a lot of followers who are like, I wish I had parents to see, and I'm aware of someday they're not going to be here. I mean, that's just life, right? Like, all of us have a time on this planet, and it's not forever. Always working on relationships. I admire that. Well, I think relationships need work, and I don't feel like I work enough on them. I feel like my college friends, like it's super hard to juggle kids, autism, and then parents too. Husband, by the time you've done 4 children, your spouse and your parents, maybe your in-laws, if you can get to them, there's just not enough time in the day. And Amos takes a lot of time. Up. That's partly why it's nice so if he's not here, we can't just go out to dinner with my parents and take Amos. So I always make time to see them, but I have to go above and beyond to make time because then I have to make plans for Amos so that I can spend time with them, You made me laugh so hard when you said we were basically a kite on the parasailing trip. I'd give anything to hug my parents again. It's funny. That's how I feel about my brother. I cannot imagine what it would be like to see him again. And my own grandparents, my mom's parents died. Well, I think I was maybe 6 when my grandpa died and 9 when my grandma died. She lived with us, my mom's mom. But then my dad's parents died when I was dating my husband now. And I really don't have regrets about them. I spent a lot of time with them. He and I would go see them on Sundays. I maybe wished I'd asked more questions about stories, but I really felt like I spent a lot of time with them, Just me and kids and help from respite care provider. Yeah, it's hard. What prompted this topic? I think because I'm at the beach for a few days and I'm not going on some girls' trip. I think most folks, if they get a few days off, they go somewhere with their friends or they go do whatever. And part of the reason that I'm here on my own is to spend a little time with Russell and spend time with my parents. And that's it. And get a little work done. And so having Amos at home is hard, but I'm not going to always get a chance, to redo things. So anyway, just think it's important. Sunday night topics are just kind of, whatever pops in my head. Y'all are so lucky for that reason. Do your parents or Thomas's parents ever take Amos or spend time with them? Yeah, they all spend time with them, but none of our family can keep Amos. So that's just, he's a lot. We can't just randomly leave him at people's houses, or he doesn't go and spend the nights, and he's not on a regular sports team. He is going to be playing Miracle League baseball this year. There's a guy that's moved to our town, and he is getting it started up, and I'm super excited about that and hoping I can be helping with that, and just really thankful that somebody that's not me is making the effort to run it. You won the battle with Big Thomas. Yes, we were having a discussion about the plan for Amos this week. Lost my brother in the Vietnam War. Oh. And a sister from a drunk driver. Oh, wow. I bet that is hard. A friend of mine one time, I said they have had siblings, and I was like, I just wish I had, my brother around. And, but it's funny, though, not having a brother around, our relationship can be perfect, right? Because he's not here. So Adam and I can have this awesome, perfect brother-sister relationship. We can just be sitting right together all the time, no problems. You sound tired or feeling down. I'm probably a little both. I'm a little tired. I packed up kids and people today and kind of had a big week last week. It sort of wore me out. And, maybe a little more thoughtful. My Townhouse Miracle League. Can't wait for my son to start. So Miracle League is baseball, and I'm really interested to see it because Amos tends to throw things, and so it'll be interesting to have him holding a bat. Miracle League is awesome. Everybody seems to love it. My son used to volunteer with Miracle League. My son Russell, tonight we were talking about school next year and his plans, and he said he was talking about Special Olympics, and both he and Thomas do it. And I said, do you enjoy doing Special Olympics? And he said, well, I had the hardest kid, is what he said, at Special Olympics. And, but my teachers knew that I have a brother with a disability. And I think that's why they picked me. And he said, and he was good. He was just, kind of wild like Amos. But his family was all there cheering for him. And I said, did you tell his family about Amos? And he said, yeah, I did. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, boy, if Amos was at Special Olympics and some cute teenager came up to help and just said, hey, I'm Russell, and to me, I have a brother with special needs, then I would immediately be like, it would just be so nice. And I think that's kind of how Miracle League's going to be. You just go out there. Everybody has special needs. So every parent there, not one of us has any pride left. We're done. And it'll be nice. So anyway, it's kind of exciting. And then my daughter is going to be doing swim team. That's new to our family. And then my big boys play tennis. New to your page, and enjoyed listening to you. Used to work at the Muriel Humphrey Center. Been up since 4 a.m. Gosh. The sleep has not been great around here. This bed with a dog, a husband, and a 9-year-old is feels like a lot. I'm sort of excited to sleep. Plastic bats. When you come to Savannah, is it a private conference or will you do a meetup? So I am speaking at a conference in Savannah, Georgia in February, and really looking forward to that. It's on autism, and it's lots of public school teachers that'll be coming. And I'm also going to plan a meetup. Sheila, who helps me, is going to hopefully come and organize that. So I don't know what we're going to do exactly, but I'm going to plan to see folks. I have not gotten my airline tickets yet, but that's like I'm going to make a long list of all the things that I am behind on doing and do them. Saw what you wrote about your brother. So my brother's birthday was on Friday. He would have been 53. And yeah, any special needs mom just thinking about sleeping sounds like heaven. I mean, that's our life, right? I just never get any sleep. And I tell you what, no sleep will make you crazy. I mean, I think some people might be like, she's nuts. And I would say, you might be right. And I would sort of blame it on no sleep. I mean, it's not good. Honor, come on, get down. Oh, yeah, I did speak at ECW for the Episcopal Diocese, Eastern Diocese. It was good. It went really good. It was really a nice crowd. Yes, I'll be in Savannah, and I don't do a ton of travel. It's too much. It's too much. So, anyway, turn 50. Oh, yeah, so it's Honor, stop. Yes, my brother would have been 53 on Friday. And that's always a hard, August is hard, I think, for that. His birthday, the date of his death was a month before he turned 20. And then the birthday looms. And it is kind of like, I'm not a moody person. I'm not really a anxious person or a sad person. But always around that period of time, especially like if I'm worrying about other things, the combination is not great. Does Big Thomas have trouble getting Amos to bed? Yes, our nanny caregiver is doing that when I'm not there. You know, I'm really kind of the one that does the stuff like that at home because mainly Amos wants me to do it. So like today when they left, I had to go down to a friend's house and just sort of hide because he would have had a big fuss with me here. Losing my mom. Oh, I tell you what, my mother is just, you know, I learned you sit here and have people say, I lost my parents, or I lost my mom, or I lost my siblings. And it's like, I just think, wow, I'm so thankful to have my parents and to be able to go out to dinner with them and hug them and have a good time. And it's just really nice. Oh, I am in Wilmington in September. I'm doing a really neat fundraiser for Paws for People where we got Honor. They're doing like a shopping thing. You sound hoarse, like what you did before you got COVID. Oh my God, I cannot get COVID again. I just had it a month ago. I think I'm hoarse because I've spent a lot of time in the salt water. Oh no, Marla. I hope you get sleep. Next Sunday night is not going to be exciting. Next Sunday night is going to be bad. Next Sunday night is going to be the night before school starts. Yesterday would have been my mom's 66th birthday. Lost her when I was 15. Miss her more with every day. Oh. You know what I think it is, Shelley? I think you miss, or at least for me with Adam, is that I don't miss him like in my daily life because he's been out of it so long. But I miss like seeing what, I need some water, seeing what our relationship would have been like, or, and I mean, I've said this before, but like having Uncle Adam around, you know? Now, why are you going to go out here? The dog's going to go sit on the porch. That's what you miss, or that's what I miss. Or I miss being able to call him and be like, do you think that we should worry about this doctor that Dad just saw? You know, or having just somebody to run things by. I have a really good friend, and her parents are a little older than mine. And so she and I talk a lot. And I try to, like, make sure that I'm available to her for her just to talk about things with, because she's an only child like me. Because you need somebody. Like, I want to be able to call her and be like, oh my gosh, what should I do? You know, because that's what siblings do. My dad, my uncle, they did that together. Why is Honor not home with Amos? Well, for one thing, the car was full with children and husbands. And for another thing, yes, Honor, I am in charge of Honor. I'm her handler. So she is here with me. And that's good for her. And so anyway, she's very needy. I just let Russell move upstairs to the guest room. He's so excited. Everybody in this house loved to go sleep in a king-size bed. Wish I had my mom. She was 84 when she passed. Well, sometimes you want to spend so much time with people, and then you're like, I never get anything done. You know? But I guess it doesn't really matter. I have 2 sisters. We've never had that kind of relationship. If I didn't have my brother going through a lot with my mother, yeah, hard on me as an only child. Yeah, it is. It is a lot. Little Thomas looks like your brother. I think all my children look like my brother to some degree. Russell has my brother's exact hands. Blair has my brother's exact smile. Little Thomas has his build. It's just interesting to see. And Amos, I don't know what Amos has got. Amos is his own novel person. Russell feel like it can. You know, that is something that I do make an effort to do. You know, we can't do everything. Like, some people are really good about exercising, right? Or some people put on makeup. Some people have really clean houses, you know, like they make their bed every day. And clearly not me. Some people they read. And some people have, like, really close friends, and they do a ton with their friends. And it's, you have a limited amount of time. So how do you spend it, you know? And I think I like spending time with my children collectively and separately. And for some people, that's not a priority. It's like, my kids are a group. We can all hang out together. So that might just be something that I like, you know? And maybe it's because I have Amos. Maybe if I didn't have a child with a disability, I would not worry about my other kids as much needing my attention. But I do. Amos is super smart. Yes, he is. Amos does sort of look like me. I used to be thin like that. I'm not anymore. So I just like to put time into them. And yeah, my parents. So anyway. I think Blair looks like her dad. Yes. Yes, Blair is definitely a Wood. I think my in-laws, they all love to claim Blair. She's pretty like my mother-in-law. She's dark-skinned and green-eyed. She's pretty. And she's been really good, too. You know, it's interesting. It's better not to make your bed. It needs to air out. Really? Damn, I didn't know that. That's awesome. When I had talked about Amos going home, of course, my oldest son was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to do my essays and Amos is going to be there and I'm not going to get anything done. And I said, well, I have to work. He was like, well, I said, well, why don't you stay down here? Well, I can't. You distract me. I love the idea of me distracting a 17-year-old. And I said, how do I do that? He said, you asked me if I want to go surfing. I'm like, well, I didn't mean while you were doing your college essays. But anyway. And so he was fussing and moaning about it. And then you could tell my husband was a little worried, like, I've got a big work week. What's this going to look like? And then Blair was like, Mom, it's fine. I'll do it. And then she goes, you can just pay me in clothes. So it might be a teensy bit expensive. But anyway, so nice having a 14-year-old. If anybody has a 14-year-old daughter out there, you would know that they are not particularly selfless individuals. But I think for the most part, my kids are pretty nice. I'm trying. Not perfect, but I'm trying. Subscribers, see y'all in the morning. We're going to have some coffee around between 9 and 10 a.m., a coffee chat.